unlimited power. Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for The Current War. So The Current War is not about a current war, but it's about current as in electricity. So The Current War is about the dramatic story of the cutthroat race between electricity titans Thomas Edison and George Westinghouse to determine whose electrical system would power the modern world. So my son and I had the opportunity to see an early screening. It comes out next week, Friday, I think July 26th, and we were sat in the cinema, a very full cinema, which was amazing. It's such a great atmosphere. If you can go to see a screening of something that you're kind of excited to see with a really full cinema, then I would say do it. Go for the fullest, go for the earliest, because it does lend itself to, if the film is good, then the atmosphere, I feel like it changes. And I have to say, for the majority of this film, everybody was still. It was quiet. There were moments of the chuckles and shifts and people fidgeting, but for the most part, it was really interesting to see how glued to the screen people were. The Current War actually has an interesting history to it. It was screened in 2016 at a film festival, I think it's TIFF, but then it was shelved because of its banner under the Weinstein house, obviously with the whole Me Too movement, and it was shelved, and it's gone through reshoots and a re-edit, and it's quite different to what that film is to what you see now. I thought this film was stunning. I do think this is going to be I don't think this film is going to flick everybody's switches. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. It is for me and my son, we were riveted because we love stuff about science and invention. The actors in this film also really portrayed their parts so well. My son mentioned that he didn't think of them as actors or acting. They just became their roles, their parts. Benedict Cumberbatch is fantastic in this. Tom Holland is also excellent in this. And I was worried that I'd seen them so much recently within the MCU. You got Doctor Strange, you got Spider-Man, and I was worried whether my brain would be able to switch off them as those roles and just see them as those characters. And almost immediately, I totally forgot that, any MCU existed. I know, how can you say that? But because they so portrayed their roles, their characters so well, they became these characters. And I think that's partly down to how the director has directed this film. This director has particularly wanted to kind of stray away from the period piece. It is a period piece and it is an ensemble piece, and the actors in this are vast. There are amazing actors and actresses in this, and I feel like he develops each character quite well. He follows the tangents of a storyline in one character and another, but the way he directs this, the way he gets his actors to act in it, is more relatable than most period pieces. I think he does away with some of the language, which I think is interesting. It felt relatable to me. I understood everything. It didn't come across all very period, with the certain, oh, how do they do that? They don't speak like that, but in my mind, sometimes period pieces can be very on the old school language sides of things, and I didn't feel like that was this here. I only have one complaint about this film, and that's the music. The score is stunning and the music is amazing, but at times it did feel like it overtook the whole film. It was loud, it was kind of controlling the scene when it was very vibrant, very kind of forceful in front of what was going on in whatever you were seeing visually, which again, cinematography wise, beautiful, stunning. But whatever they were showing, sometimes the music would be too loud and it felt like it was controlling the scene. It did come off a bit like they didn't have faith that their story was riveting enough to really kind of take you along this journey without having to kind of force some music on it to make it go, hey, this is loud and exciting music, because I think the score is excellent. But had they taken it down somewhat, I think it would have helped drive the story rather than kind of force the story. And that's the only kind of real complaint I have about this film. For the majority of the film, I was totally riveted. I thought maybe there was a slight dip in story as the story kind of dragged slightly in the middle, but for the most part, I was highly entertained by this film. It's definitely one that I think is going to be overshadowed by films at the cinema at the moment. So The Lion King has literally just come out, and there are a few other big titles that will come out. But I do think that this film will find its audience. It's excellent storytelling. The cinematography is beautiful. The acting takes on these roles, these mantles of history, these guys that we know as to be some of the greatest inventors of our time. Edison, you know, who did the phonograph, who did motion pictures, who has so many amazing, inventive, ingenious, creative thing going on in his head. And I think that's shown so well on screen. There are moments where you get to see the other sides of the story, and I think it's balanced, and you get the other side of the story, Westinghouse, and I think it really shows the two, kind of the battle between the two. Some might say that the story is just that what you get from the trailer is the story is about these two guys battling out for who wins the current war. And it is that, but it's about the story and the journey and what these characters go through. And it does take some artistic license, so it is based on truth, but there definitely is artistic license thrown in this. But it's such a journey, such a visual feast that I think as a wannabe filmmaker, that I've made some shorts and I've participated in features myself, I know that this is art. It's craftsmanship at some of its best. Blah, 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 blah. One of the standouts on screen for me was Nicholas Hoult, who plays Nikola Tesla. I just loved his portrayal of Tesla. I love the little interactions he has with other actors, the way he comes off quirky and weird, but in a really real way. You really believe that was like it, that you felt like they've really done their research into what mannerisms, the way he speaks, the way he holds himself, the kind of things he's into. All of it just feels really authentic. So although we weren't there for history, the characters that you've seen portrayed with their inventions, who they are as people, what is going on at the time, just feels very real. So you're getting just art at its best. It's the craftsmanship of the cinematography, of the acting, of the score, which is though at times is loud. If you love film and you love invention and you want to see something unique and different that perhaps isn't franchised, then this is the film for you. I'm going to give this film an A because I think it was great, apart from like one minor little irritation. If you've seen this film, or you're going to see this film, do let me know what you thought about the sound issue, because maybe it was just me and my son, but we both would at the same time. Thank you so much for watching this review. Chat to me in the comments below. Do share this review if you like it. Give it a thumbs up if you think my content is interesting enough for you to kind of comment on and like and share with your people. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.